All right, so thanks again for making Locked on Rams your first listen every single day. We got all your information and analysis about the Los Angeles Rams. So the question is, the Rams are one of the last two teams standing. Obviously, the Rams and the Bengals are the only two teams that aren't looking forward to next year. But let's play this out a little bit. Let's talk about what this looks like. If the Rams win, everything that we've been talking about for the last week and a half, 2 weeks that I've been doing this pod, it hit, right? You took all the money out of your pocket. You went in there, you put it on one hand, and boom, you hit it. Good for you. Everybody's thrilled. Maybe the draft picks come back at some point and you get a little bit behind and you don't have quite the amount of talent that you need. Maybe you don't. Maybe it all works out in both ways. But if you win the Super Bowl, even if a couple of years from now you still don't have first-round draft picks, you say, well, I know we don't have any first-round draft picks, but the first-round draft picks we did have would have been 32nd because we won the Super Bowl. And the year after that, maybe it's 32nd or 29th or 28th or whatever it is because we went all in. So it's worth it. If there's a Super Bowl championship in the mix, it absolutely is worth it. There's no question about it. What if it goes the other way? What if it's a situation where you lose the game to the Bengals? We just talked about it a minute ago about how good this team is. I am not sitting here thinking, oh my goodness, thank you, it's not Patrick Mahomes, and then it's only Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Those guys are scary, really scary. So what if it goes the other way? We're talking about this on my radio show. Is it a failure for the Rams if they come up one game short of a world championship? And I don't think that it is. I really don't, because I think there's it's an incredibly bad habit that people have. And I don't know if it's just where we are collectively or it's people that haven't competed and realize that sometimes it doesn't go your way. When you lose, it's not a guarantee that you failed. You lost. Losing and failure are not the same things. Failure would have been had we seen what we saw in the month of November happen all season long. Had you seen what we happened in the month of November happen in the wild card game against the Arizona Cardinals, where, wait a second, the quarterback came unglued. The team just cratered under even minimal expectations. Really? The first round? That would be failure. Failure would result in all of a sudden the owner, Stan Kroenke, decides, we have to change everything. This doesn't work. That's a failure. A failure is what happened to the Atlanta Falcons a handful of years ago against the New England Patriots, where they had a 28-3 lead and Matt Ryan's taking sacks and throwing interceptions and everybody's making crazy decisions and the whole thing comes unglued in a matter of about a half an hour because you choked and you cratered. That's a failure. Now, look, if the Rams go out there and do that, that's a failure. Are the Rams the better team? Absolutely. But if you go out and match up against a team as good as the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm going to keep saying this, you're going to get very tired of me telling you how good the Bengals are because they are. But if you go out there and you have a result, let's use another example from the Super Bowl. Remember the Arizona Cardinals Pittsburgh Steelers game a handful of years ago, that Super Bowl, the one that ended with an unbelievable catch from Santonio Holmes in the corner of the end zone. Remember that one? Okay. Did the Arizona Cardinals fail in that game? Was that a failure? I can't imagine anybody thinks that it was. It was an incredible disappointment, a terribly disappointing moment where you think that you're on the verge of winning a Super Bowl. You've done everything you possibly can. We saw the Larry Fitzgerald touchdown, Kurt Warner's playing lights out. Everything about that was an extraordinary run to the Super Bowl. But they didn't give it away. They didn't collapse. They weren't bowed by the moment. They lost. There's a difference between those things. If that's the outcome of the game and the Rams are the Cardinals in that situation, is that a failure? I can't see it like that. In that situation, you run it back again. Maybe you make some small tweaks along the way. You maybe find some value later in the draft. Maybe you have to get a little more creative with your money and how you spend it. But failure would mean that we got to start this whole thing over again. It's not what they're going to do. First of all, I think they're going to win. Second of all, even if they don't, it's the beginning of this next chapter in it. I said it on this pod yesterday. If you didn't listen to it, you should go back and do it. Free and available wherever you find all your podcasts. But I said it. You need to cash this win in because you never know what's coming next. And I believe that to be true. I believe that you don't know if you're coming back to this game in a year, in 3 years like they were this time since the last time they're there, or maybe it'll be another 3 decades before you come back. Nobody knows. Bengals used to go to the Super Bowl kind of. They went in the early 80s, they went in the early 90s, and, well, here we are. It's 2022. So sometimes you go and it turns around every 10 or so, but you just don't know. But that doesn't mean that because it didn't go your way that you failed, that the organization is failing. It means that you lost. Now, if they go out there and lose the game 34-10 and somebody's just running the ball up and down the field and no one can cover anybody and Jalen Ramsey collapses and Aaron Donald doesn't have a tackle and Von Miller is AWOL, then yeah, that's a different conversation. But if it's a game and the Rams play well and come up a little bit short, I have a very hard time envisioning that in any sort of way as a failure. Disappointing, no question about it, but I just don't see it. And take the Cincinnati Bengals seriously, because that's a team that's coming here. They are not happy to be here. They are not just, hey, let's go to LA. We'll go to the pier. We'll check out Disneyland. We'll go see the Hollywood Bowl. We'll go see the sights. We'll just have a great time. And oh, by the way, on that last Sunday we're there, we'll swing by SoFi Stadium and play a football game. And if it goes our way, great. But otherwise, yeehaw, we had a great season. No, they're coming to win too. I guarantee you that the guys in that Cincinnati Bengals locker room, that the guys on Locked On Bengals are probably saying, hey, we better do this because I don't know if they're coming back. Look at the AFC. Look at the AFC. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. We'll see what happens with Aaron Rodgers. Where does he go? We'll see. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks. Justin Herbert didn't even get into the playoffs. He's one of the best quarterbacks in football. He can't even get into the tournament. That's how good they are. So you're going to have to figure this out pretty quickly, and there are no guarantees that you're going to get back to this game over and over again. So they're coming with everything. I do not think losing the game equates with failure. It equates with disappointment. It equates with sadness. It equates with feeling like you had a chance and it just didn't go your way. It's not failing. Failing is you're not prepared. Somebody gets arrested the night before. All those terrible things that we've seen happen to other teams before. What up, Eugene Robinson? I'm just saying, that's failing. You didn't have everybody on the same page. You didn't have everybody ready to go when you needed them to go. That's the failure. Not coming up short in a football game. Disappointing, absolutely. But I just don't see it as a failure in any way, shape, or form. And they're going to be ready. The Rams will be. This is why, even in a situation where maybe they come up a little short and they don't win the game, I don't see any. The Rams don't have guys that get in trouble. Knocking on wood. You can hear it, right? Okay, the Rams don't have guys that just disappear. Barrett Robbins, knocking on wood. They don't have a coach that is going to let the place just come unglued in the next 2 weeks with all the Super Bowl festivities going on. Sean McVay, while young and I don't want to say inexperienced because he's not inexperienced anymore, but young, he knows how this works. He's been through this before. He knows how to get his team ready. He knows what needs to get done, what you can ignore, the parts that you need to pay attention to. The Rams are going to be ready. The only reason there are two ways that this could not go their way, just globally speaking, not even getting into matchups and this guy could have a big day or that guy could have a big day. There's two ways that they could lose this game that would be the Rams' fault. Number one, Matthew Stafford has a day, the wrong day. The multiple interception day, the pick six day, the I'm channeling bad decision guy day. That's one way. And the other way is that Sean McVay gets tied up in his own genius at some point, right? And I do think while Tom Brady was on the other side, while Bill Belichick was on the other side the last time he was in the Super Bowl, I do think there was a little bit of, I'm going to spend so much time on this. I mean, the analysis by paralysis by analysis, right? That you're over prepared to the point of, I spent 2 weeks preparing for the final exam. I've read every book that referenced the book, and I've gone over my notes 10,000 times. And by the time it comes, you're frozen in place because you don't even know where to start. Those are the only two ways I see it really going in a losing direction because someone did the wrong thing. Could they get beat on the field? Sure. Jacksonville beat Indianapolis to keep them out of the playoffs. Anybody can beat anybody in this league, and especially once you get good teams the way that we are in the Super Bowl, then duh, right? But unprepared. Not ready to go. Aaron Donald not showing. I just don't see it. That's why I just have a hard time putting myself in any sort of situation where it feels like a loss results in some sort of label as a failure. A disappointment, unequivocally. A failure, not a chance.